two teams that are both in their own ways in slightly dire straits. Beastcoast situation, something that I think we harped on maybe even a little bit too much yesterday because there's just a lot of things going on with that roster at the minute. But Spacestation is arguably going to be the bigger story because they played their first two games yesterday and didn't win a single time.
Yeah, for Spacestation, this has to be a bounce-back game, right? They're on a 4-map losing streak at the moment, including 2 maps from the offseason. They really haven't had the greatest coming into the North American League, yet to find a win. Their opponents, the exact same situation. This has to be a bounce-back for them. They're on an even bigger 9-map losing streak, yet to win a game in the North American League. So we're going to at least get one team out of the dumps today.
It's definitely a little scary, but I actually did talk to Call Out before this game has started, and I asked him, what was the problem? Was it, first game jitters, everything like that? And that's basically what it was summed up to. He said it was kind of first game jitters. People were confused. They didn't know what was going on. But Call Out said at the end of that, it's going to be fixed. Mm-hmm. And that coming from Call Out, it's going to be fixed, I hope.
Okay. Say if Callout says it, he's absolutely going to fix something. And specifically, one of the arbiters of trying to figure out what happens in the mid-round is Forest. Two very different versions of Forest from both Game 1 into Game 2, Jesse.
Yeah, we'll take a look at both of his stat sheets, and don't get confused, right? This is game number 1. This was the match where they lost 7-1 on Nighthaven Labs. Forest, a 1.14, 2-2 on entry, 109. Forest played great. Forest, you think that they won this game just based off his stats?
Sure.
And then we're going to take a look at his second game stats. This one was way closer. 14 rounds against Luminosity. And Forest, where did he go?
Oh, God.
Not contributing to the massive improvement that we seemingly saw from Spacestation from game 1 to 2. Forest, as an individual, actually performed far worse. And one thing I noticed that changed from Forest from game 1 to 2 was how often he was holding that defuse kit. In their first matchup, he was playing Ying, he was first in the building, he was tearing through the bomb site and making so much space for his team. On the second map they were going through, 3 out of their 7 attacking rounds, he was holding a defuse kit at the start of the round. He was trying to get in a little bit later, or at least he maybe should have been with the defuse kit, but instead he was still in quite early. He was still struggling to kind of have that impact because he both wanted to plant and wanted to be able to get that entry point. So it felt like Forest got a little bit lost between the 2 maps last game, and I'm hoping we see maybe a little bit more from that Nighthaven Labs performance from him, just because it really felt like when he was in that role for the team, he was providing so much more and was at least enabling them to have a better shot of winning rounds.
Yeah, in my experience with Forrest, I talked on it yesterday. He's not your typical support player. He gets in your face, he gets the job done, and that does really create a lot of space for SSG going forward. And this new roster as a whole, they're a strong team. They got tons of fraggers on it, and having him in those slotted roles, performing at those expectations are huge. But yeah, you said it. When he's not there, it does kind of slow SSG down, because I think Forrest does lead that initial charge.
Especially with where Ashen fits into the overall profile. Let's just look at all of SSG from yesterday, because again, the only 2 games they played so far were yesterday. Ashen is second overall rated amongst everybody else here, but it's also interesting to see where some of these guys end up right now, Lex.
The biggest one that sticks out to me the most right now is J9. He is always someone to me that has always performing. Even if he's not at the top, he's still in the middle. He's still doing what needs to be done. So seeing this showing, it is a little scary if you're an SSG fan. But again, talking to Call Out and even just looking at the stats across the board, it's going to be fixed.
I'm hoping we see a performance from Spacestation that gets Faults to smile like that.
He was really beaming.
He was very happy when they took that photo that clearly wasn't taken yesterday.
Bolts is a good-looking guy, so is Ashen up there.
Yes, sir.
Got a good-looking team.
Very true. For SSG, I think the expectations are high, and hopefully they can bounce back. We say that about a lot of teams already so far at this stage. I think it's still a kind of warranted hope for a lot of these guys. For Beastcoast, it's not exactly the same situation. Just as a reminder, this is the first time we are not going to see Reverse being playing for Beastcoast today. Instead, it will be Tristan subbing in for him. And if you see Tristan.C9 in the lobby, that's just what he's decided his name is going to be. He played under that, I believe, in Element 1. So he's coming into this team, and there are a lot of guys that had some pretty high hopes for him as well.
Certainly, and Tristan has been a player who's bounced around Tier 2 for a while. He's not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to be a tall task coming into a team that's already had so many struggles, trying to kind of revamp, maybe give a breath of fresh air into this lineup, because so far we've just seen so much struggling coming through from Beastcoast.
Let's take a look at where we're going for this best of 1 between Spacestation and Beastcoast, and I'm just curious whether, Jesse, if this map ends up being what you predicted or if we get something completely out of the blue.
Well, we'll find out, Jacob. I was not sure where this one was going to go. Again, Beastcoast, they're a tough team to predict their map bans just because they don't really have many great maps to come through. I thought a Clubhouse would have maybe been in the cards. I thought that we... Okay.
Again?
Okay. I expected a lot of different maps. Nighthaven Labs was not one of them. Spacestation Gaming, 7-1 on Nighthaven Labs yesterday. An awful performance. Beastcoast, only 2 bans through 5 games, so not surprised that they wanted to go here, but SSG running it back.
I don't even know what much to say to it. They got decimated yesterday on it. So, again, call out speaking into existence, saying things will be fixed. Maybe give hope going into Nighthaven. We haven't seen Beastcoast play it. So, again, we're about to see Nighthaven once again be played by another Pro League team and see how they facilitate the map, how they operate around it. And I think it's be as a good viewing experience for everyone.
And I don't want to continue harping on Beastcoast too much, but there's a big difference playing M80 and then playing Beastcoast on the same map, given what we know about Beastcoast. So if you're going to continue to trial out a brand new map like this seems like the most opportune time to do it, right?
When your back's against the wall, might as well.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully not for very much longer. I think the cool thing about this for Nighthaven is, again, we always needed somebody to take the plunge. Because if we don't have anybody actually playing this game in comp, we're not going to know how to get better at it, both from a viewing point of view and from the guys who are in the lobby doing it right now.
I mean, I'm surprised, actually, that we're seeing it as much as we are. We said it in the beginning that we probably aren't going to be seeing that map. If we were to see one, it's going to be Consulate. So it's a little depressing we ain't seeing Consulate.
True.
But I am glad to be seeing Nighthaven because it does give you that visual perspective of how that map is played at a professional setting.
And I am glad we talked about Forrest and how he at least performed well in Nighthaven Labs. This gives me hope that we're going to see the Forrest that I wanted to see more of yesterday on map 2, right?
Definitely.
I don't expect that we're going to see Forrest grabbing the defuse kit probably at all throughout this game. Maybe if they do some weird strategy with like a shield or something, perhaps.
You think they're just going to keep it away from him?
I think so. I think you're going to keep the defuse kit in the hands of Faults, let him be the breacher, and then we'll see the Ying come through from Forrest. We'll see some aggressive operators, maybe some Yana, because that's really where we saw Forrest shine, and I think we might get to see some more of that today.
Yeah.
Remind me of those 2 Nighthaven games we've seen so far. The first one was super attacker-sided, and then the one yesterday was super defender-sided.
Correct.
So what's the biggest thing Space Station need to work on, their attacks or their defenses, that we want to watch?
Well, it was their attacks that struggled last time, despite the fact that they did get those entries sometimes. The follow-up, the mid-round, was really all over the place. So I think that is what needs to be improving here against
I completely agree with that, 110%.
So about the new ones, by the way, we said at the beginning of the stage, North America seems a bit allergic to trying new things out. It's like, we'll bring new players in if they haven't played in Tier 1 before, but trying the new operators, trying the new maps, it's just not something that we thought we would see very frequently. I like that we're getting a lot of Nighthaven. Does that play into, I'm trying to remember, does Ram play a lot into Nighthaven's strat? Because I think we could see a couple guys in SSG rocking it pretty well.
I don't think we saw it too much. I think Buck was more getting utilized more than anything.
Well,
yeah, that's fair.
The first time Ram was banned, right? Dark Zero banned Ram on the first and 50% of the matches that we've seen so far on Nighthaven Labs. So Dark Zero at least think that she's very good on this map, and I think she definitely can be, right? If you're attacking onto that basement bomb site, you want to open up into storage. If you want to open up cargo, there's a lot of great Ram spots, I think, on that basement bomb site. But yeah, the Buck, I think, can also be used very effectively by a lot of teams.
Definitely, and then even just going from like a top down, you can get a little further away, play those angles a little better. So I mean, maybe we will see Ram. This is Beastcoast now coming to it. We might be able to see it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk to a couple of casters who I think definitely have a monopoly on North American League Nighthaven Labs at this point. It's Stokes and Lynx for map 2.
In North America, Sam and I think at this point we've casted the majority of Nighthaven games played in all of Rainbow Six at this point. I mean, just off the top of my head, I think we've got like 1 in Brazil, 1 in, I think, Asia, and now 3 in North America, all casted by yours truly, myself, Lynx, and Samuel Stokes Stewart. You have a lot of S's in your name, my friend. That's difficult.
Yeah, I made sure it was a tongue twister for everybody when I was putting the name together, just to be a little irritable, But yeah, man, we definitely have the monopoly on the Nighthaven Labs so far, and I feel bad for all the analysts. They got to make sure to hit that mute button right when they get to the pod.
Something like that.
But either way, Beastcoast is going to be leading us off with the bans here. I'm excited to get into Nighthaven. We've seen a lot on this map already, especially for your sake and my sake, as we've been touching on. And with that, I'd like to say that we have a little bit of an insight into how this map works. And I like to say it's pretty creative, Lynx. It reminds me of, the older style of Clubhouse. It kind of feels to me as though it's just like a Clubhouse with a handful of more rooms. You know what I mean? There's a little bit more clearing to
I'd
it,
say so.
a little bit more active play around the top floor and mid floor because of that. But all in all, a very fun map.
Definitely enjoyable to cast, and some similar bans from yesterday as well. It talked about us having an inside. I think this might actually be a complete repeat of the ban phase we had in SSG's Nighthaven game against M80. Saw M80 ban the Blitz, SSG respond with the Montaigne and the Bandit, which they have today. The one change, M80 banned Fenrir, whereas Beastcoast have banned Valkyrie. I will say, though, definitely think the Bandit being taken off the board might affect Beastcoast a little bit on this defense, as I'm sure it affected SSG yesterday. This map is very good for Bandit tricking, and Beastcoast will have to find other ways, whether it be via hard breach denial or via some other method to stall out time on what is otherwise one of the larger maps in Rainbow Six.
Well, so far, not so good this stage for Beastcoast, as they're starting off 0-5 with the worst round differential as of right now in North America, -18 at the current moment. They've won 17 rounds so far out of 35. So hopefully today that is going to be the game changer, though. Obviously, this is a new map. Nobody really have any track record on this. Obviously, all except for SSG in this scenario, as they have played this map publicly one time before. But for Beast Coast's sake, they don't have to worry about SSG having any VOD on what their overall strategy is for this map. So could see some creative things coming out. We always know Mr. B's got something in the works when it comes down to it. We'll just have to see if it's going to be successful.
I do always want to give credit to Mr. B. I always like to see what he's cooking, but definitely so far inside of stage 2, we've yet to see him or the
Not
rest of
cooking
his team.
much.
Yeah, exactly.
Not cooking
much
at all, in fact.
We've yet to see him at his full potential, but I have to say, as someone who was a bit, or well, still is in my opinion, or still is, a big fan of that old reality TV roster that had Tristan on it, I'm very excited, despite the circumstances, to see Tristan make his Pro League debut. This is a player that really kind of came out of nowhere inside of CL, let alone come out of nowhere inside of T1. And even though he is subbing in for Reverse, I'm really excited to see what he can do despite the circumstances. Of course, SSG starting out on the attack. We'll do some of the basics of Nighthaven that I think we can all agree on at this point. Open the IT breach, but then maybe change things up a little bit. Whereas Spiff's got the first kill. Fultz is pushed all the way into Garage, but Spiff has created a very strong early lead, held by Beastcoast, and really not done much by SSG to stop it outside of Fultz's huge play. Jan, I know, a player we're looking to see a bigger performance in this match, has now walked into, or up Aqua Stairs to recover it. Aside from Fultz, it's all been Beastcoast in this round. Spiff and Mr. B, both 2-1 right now. Janano is position likely known by the defense as well. We'll just have to push into the bomb side with no diffuser control either. One player pushed up on that pillar. Oh, he spots him. He can't land the shots. Defense can just bide their time at the moment, wait behind these angles, but Janano also has a mirror window and might just be able to recover the diffuser. Open up that soft wall with an Ash charge, pick that up, and he might just be able to plan on this mirror window.
Scarily close.
Attackers recovered
Back
the
off
bomb
the mirror
diffuser.
window. Makes his way through the rotation and gets the case, but has to be worried about this position right around the server base. It's going to be Hat. It's constantly been firing at him. Trying to nip at his side, but just can't get this dagger in. Nitro Cell, I'll be able to. Oh! Try and catch it at least, but it's going to be a straight 3-point shot from Tristan right outside the arch. And it's going to be nothing but net.
A very good start from Beast Coast. Very good start, especially from Mr. B and Spiff as well. The latter opening up that round almost entirely. If you did not tune in yesterday to see SSG's debut inside of the NAL against M80, well, they only got one attack, and that just happens to be the side they're starting on right now. So a recovery from that, even if it's not winning the attacking half, as we're still yet to see if Nighthaven ends up being a more defender-sided or attacker-sided map initially, just bouncing back from a rough 1-5 half to start out their attacks yesterday. That's an imperative today. They sure might have lost the first, but now might be able to move downstairs and find some better ground here, as Beast Coast will likely be forced to hold some larger portions of the map, and that could give SSG different opportunities to push in and pinch different defenders.
Yeah, we saw the main strategy from M80 being yesterday, reinforcing practically the entirety of everything that faces outbound on the south side of the building. So everything for delivery, all the garage panels, everything upstairs for IT. That's where all of these panels are getting dedicated links. And it's because they want to try and extend up to that mid floor and make it to where the offense has to give up material in order to entry these portions of the building, because there's only so many things they can get access to, right? They are only bringing hot and cold as well as folds on the breach. And yes, that seems like it's plenty enough, right? But at the end of the day, it might not be. There might be some angles that you might so choose to look at later on down the line that they wish they had a piece of utility for. So we'll see if they have to cross that bridge. But as of right now, you can see their immediate access point is going to be Master Keen open the entirety of delivery. It's going to be the Thatcher right to the hard breach combo, the exothermics, as well as the Selmas working very swimmingly in this situation.
And they've given Ashen, or Forrest, excuse me, they've given Forrest a way in, but not one that he can really take in all actuality. That mirror window's still alive, the warden's still behind it. Even on the middle floor, Beastcoast still contesting garage quite heavily. Doc not even on the rafters. He's right above that hatch, playing off a Kiva barrier on that doorway. He's got Tristan for support just behind him. There's a lot from Beastcoast, and oh yeah, even the I was wondering if the Azami was on rafters. Even the Azami on rafters, all to deny SSG from getting this hatch. But Folds, he worked magic in the IT breach before. He's the one to start things off on a good note for SSG here. No lead gain though. Tristan able sitting inside of cargo to take down Ashen. So no lead gain for SSG just yet, but they've dealt away with a key player in the defense's strategy.
Nice little pickup there for J90. Discovers Doc hiding in the corner. 4 versus 3 now. Opportunities presenting themselves to SSG. Constantly crossing their T's, dotting their I's. Making sure that there is no oversight, at least in round 2 here. They did get punished a little bit on their execution out of that first round, but still an opportunity for Forrest, just not one that he could capitalize on. And now, SSG, well within their right to apply some pressure downstairs. How do they want to transition into this, though? They have the entirety of delivery open, have some verticality working its way in from around the main basis where they want to try and find a home for this case. Don't have to worry about the Warden anymore, but they do have to worry about Spiff swinging around the Animus. They'll be able to take down one, but not before SSG find a couple more. It's going to be down to Tristan now, 1 versus 3. The sub to try and get the dub. We'll see what he can do.
Attackers are activating.
Brings his way through. Knows at least 2 are on his left, as he did know where that case was going down. He'll pre-fire 1 beautiful shots, and like you said, mechanically gifted. He's going to go for another one, and he'll get the second one. Very, very fortunate that J90 was positioned where he was, because if he was not, there's a good chance that Tristan has an opportunity to hit that 180.
That was a little too good. That was one of those plays that
I'm giving him quite a bit of props there, and that was like the first thing we've seen him do.
that was can't be having those kinds of plays 2 rounds in, man. It was already enough with the Mirage game. I mean, like what, 5 1v1s in that game, and we're sure it wasn't a clutch, but we're starting off with that from Tristan in round 2, man. That's my heart can only take so much in a given day, and we've got one more match after this for Sam and I, but it's now 1-1 between SSG and Beastcoast. SSG have matched their attacking tally from their Nighthaven game yesterday. Beastcoast hoping they can put them down to 5-1 deficit. They'd certainly feel very happy at that. Fultz, by the way, Jesse talked about on the desk, wanted to see Fultz have a bit more of a smile on his face. Definitely one of the big players in these first couple rounds. Now, did he get smoked there? Yes. However, he's now opened up the round for SG twice, even if it hasn't always resulted in a round victory.
So far, so good for both of these teams. Both getting their licks in. Got the jabs going now, but we need to see if somebody can start landing some of these bigger blows. Get a round lead here. SSG with that last round dub. Got a nice one at that, able to clear things out quickly on the delivery side and then transition that into the mid clear. That allowed them to get the verticality. Start punishing Beastcoast rotations, especially allowing them to apply a little bit of that extra pressure. Even if nobody was occupying those angles, don't have to worry about them at the end of the day. So, very well done from them. See if they can accomplish something similar this time around, as it is going to be similar circumstances. able to start things off on delivery yet again here, and then they'll transition that up to the IT breach as we are learning to love so far here on Nighthaven Labs. Tristan, 5-1-0 right now, Lynx. He's definitely standing up to your recommendation.
Yeah, Tristan's loving Nighthaven Labs. I can say that with confidence. He seems to be at home on this Solus and on this roam for Beastcoast. A big player already and giving Beastcoast a lot of advantages or a lot of big plays that they can do a lot of work with. Oh, he'll try to back down though, but there's two different players trying to pinch him out on the vending stairs. Even the best of players likely are not making it out of that one. Unfortunately for Tristan, just not much he can do at that point. Hat also now looking to retreat down inside of the bomb site as Beastcoast probably noticed that nobody on SSG is really pushing that garage side anymore, so they can instead move downstairs, start focusing on the bottom of the exo stairs.
Gonna be a patience game in between these two. It will likely come down to timing, especially when it comes to some of this angle play. We saw Doc flirting with staying on that mid floor, but he'll come down storage stairs anyways. And the rest of the gang awaiting SSG downstairs. Those ones outside the breach now. Be a smoke in, and they're both going to swing into this. And oh, what an angle from Forrest. He knew that they were going to get aggressive, and he'll be able to at least trade himself out and make this pretty manageable for SSG. That's caused a big misposition from Beastcoast. It's going to be 2 bodies for 1, and now they got a 3-body problem. SSG, man advantage. Keep pressure. Foot on neck. It's up to Doc now. So we'll try and hold on to some of these angles. Does have to try and worry about this planner as well, but it's too little too late. There's just so many crooks and crevices around this basement to worry about, Lynx. One foul swoop, one wrong corner check. He's able to clean that up there. As SSG will take it on the offense.
CC now unlocked on that second floor for Beastcoast as the basement bomb site has proven ineffective for Beastcoast so far. 2 different, well, I suppose one setup, but then they try to adapt to SSG's take later on. But with losing Tristan on that roam and so much control taken on the opposite side of the map by SSG, you know, taking lounge, taking exo stairs, pushing down, combined with the breach opened up down below. Very, very solid play from SSG and Beastcoast. Now, unfortunately, we'll look at that bottom floor bomb site with a little bit of worry. They can go back to CCTV, sure, but at this point, you're looking to one of the first floor bomb sites to get you an advantage.
I think they're just looking at anything to get themselves an advantage here. They want to make sure that the scoreline does not get away from them. They were able to at least strike first, but now SSG have been able to gather 2.
10 seconds remaining.
And they want to try and keep this neck and neck. Try and keep it a tie ball game and make sure
5 seconds
that
left.
even if things do go awry later on down the line here, at least it's a 4-2 split and not something like a 5-1, which if SSG do get the ball rolling, and these rounds have seemed convincing, there is some potential for that. So I'm going to try and spam some of the softballs here on the garage, just start things off. Spiff will return fodder. Nothing will land its mark, though. So fortunate for both of these units, but as of right now, it's going to be clean course for both of them. Home waters as of right now, and back to the nitty-gritty details, like hard breach and other utility usage.
The early hard breaching has definitely been good for SSG so far. The loss of that bandit definitely hurting Beastcoast a little bit. Of course, they haven't really been bringing hard breach to now whatsoever. No mutes, no cades, really. Maybe the bandit is a big part of their strategy if he's not banned, but certainly not tried to make up for that in any way, shape, or form. So the Thatcher, it will be a hollow EMP, or a hollow EMP. We'll open up the IT breach and the connector breach now, both solid pathways, but now you need to start pushing into the site. Foltz was able to get a lot of big picks previously, but Spiff countered and mitigated that entirely. Taking it a little bit slower, but also denying any further angles for players like Spiff to get active inside of the bomb site. That's what SSG are looking for in this reattempt on the top floor.
Well, last time that we saw SSG assault this site,
Attackers
they
have located a bomb.
were pretty strong about lighting the fuse here about the halfway point. Are getting some pretty major gunfights. Worked out for them pretty well as well. Forrest is going to be the first one in the building. He's got the cross here. Unfortunately, he is the 3 armor, but won't be able to stave off getting down for long. Forrest Coast might have a chance to sneak on out, but Bolts will actually end up getting taken down. They do still have to worry about 2 over here on the meeting side, and here it is. Big round from Beast Coast, a huge round from Beast Coast, and the excitement from Mr. B there, but you can see everybody immediately returning back to form. They're locked in, man. They know how much this means. It might be one ladder rung up, Lynx, but they still have to complete this full climb.
Hey, that was a very quick end to that round and very anticlimactic almost for SSG. I mean, they just seem to be walking in, seem to be doing fine, well, decent. Then suddenly 1, 2, 4 kills for Beast Coast in the span of about 3 seconds. They've won CC twice now, but they won't be able to go back to it this half, and this is where that difficult site selection will now rear its head. Going back to basement, which you've lost twice, not really a favorable option, so you'll have to try, about to say, likely cargo and security as your next best option. And SSG, when it's come to clearing out this roam, have seemed pretty solid. It's actually when they're attacking the bomb site directly on that second floor that they've struggled the most so far. So maybe a happy medium. We'll see SSG find some more success.
10 seconds to go.
Mid-floor defense now for Beast Coast.
Attackers objective is to
We
locate a
saw
bomb.
successfully defended by M80 with
Attackers dropped
some,
the diffuser.
I was going to say
Attackers have
creative
recovered
sauce on the top floor, but wasn't even really that creative. It was about probably like the first answer that you would arrive to as to how to stop somebody from planting inside of A. You're like, oh, well, I just shoot him from upstairs. And that's exactly what happened. Spoit was able to maintain control of command console the entire time. And as you can see, just from the positioning of the room that Spiff is in, pretty important when it comes to the central office. So we'll see if SSG are able to assault this top floor in an effective manner, try and strip that away from the defense.
activated.
That's got something cooking at the moment. Standing at the doorway. No, some players are to his right, but nobody really visible just yet. There's one player hot and cold on his drone. And Hat just misses the opportunity. Hot and cold now behind the stairwell leading up to the middle floor out, or the top floor outside. Nothing for Tristan to do on that run out. Instead, all of SSG positioned in angles to cut off the defenders. A lot of smokes, a lot of candelas going on in. No follow-up though. No follow-up just yet. Instead, Folt's clearing the top floor. Nobody hopping into the bomb site. It's relatively clear. Beast Coast not really positioned that heavily inside of CC. There are some players in garage and inside that second floor, but they're all on the opposite side of the map from SSG. Oh!
Slug rounds in that thing nowadays.
Bolt's now progressing on forward. Doc is cut down too. Beast Coast in striking distance of a lead at this point. Jan Unknown, a 1v3, 1 HP. No, that's it. Beast Coast now up 3-2. They've won another bomb site. Now, unfortunately, they either got to try kitchen or go down to basement, which they've not won once. So a 3-3 is looking likely. But Beast Coast in one of the best positions one of the best positions they've been in all season. And I think Mr. B is well aware of that fact.
I'm so happy that we have webcams on broadcast. You have no idea. It's the best addition ever, man. You get a little glimpse into the life of these professional players, and it's pretty awesome seeing the passion and the emotion behind everything, man. The rise, the fall, everything. It's really, really cool to see. So happy for Mr. Beast. Even in the moment, man. I mean, that's what you look for in your Siege players, right? I mean, we're mid-round. It's round 6. We haven't even hit the halfway mark yet, Lynx. And this guy is so ecstatic just about having a slight edge on Spacestation gaming.
It's very good to see that level of passion, very good to see that level of focus. Mr. B and the rest of the team dialed in on Nighthaven Labs. Mr. B, Spiff, and Tristan, and Hat too, actually, all boasting positive score lines. And love Doc, but he sometimes is the guy that takes the L and has to go 1 and 3. And he's still helping his team out quite a bit with the utility he's bringing. Tristan, though, that's the player I have been so excited to watch this game so far, and he has not really disappointed all that much. A couple impactless frags, maybe impressive as they were, but still putting up some solid numbers. Beast Coast have gone down to basement, though, and when SSG won that second round. He was the first roamer to fall, really, by SSG's hands. So keeping him alive is something Beastcoast are placing at the top of their priority list.
SSG do have to deal with this top floor again, and that means they do have to try and fight through Tristan, which is the big name on Beastcoast right now. The sub standing in for reverse. And I mean, I feel like we know exactly what Mr. B did with the situation, right? He was like, all right, Tristan, it's time to play comfortable. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? We can more than likely accommodate that. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. And he's like, all right, I just kind of want to get into some gunfights and have a good time. And so far, I'd say he's doing exactly that. He seems very comfortable with the position he's playing. Even on some of these clears that SSG still have, they're trying to pierce a mid-floor right now. You know, they got rid of Doc. They still have to worry about Tristan upstairs, and none of his footprints have been exposed just yet. So opportunities here. He's going to be able to at least get some damage off onto Ashton. Oh my God! Off the top rope, Tristan! Like it's WWE, man. RKO right to the buck. Fantastic. He'll be able to shut it down, and I mean, what more could you want? Ashen, in a million years, never even considered that to be something that would happen to him in such a competitive setting. But Tristan doesn't care, man. He's subbing in. He's got nothing to play for but his own fame, his own fun. And right now, we are living in his world as they are currently 3-3 up against SSG in round 6, trying to take this 4-2 half. Tristan on the top rope yet again, this time inside of Garage. He knows he has Fultz up top, or rather down low. We Fultz in the downward position. We have a couple of drones for the SSG side. They can try and reassess this, but he finds the angle, the hot and cold's ankle. We'll take a couple of shots there right to the bottom of his leg. He's doing such a good job of wasting time right now.
Located by attackers.
Fultz, though, he's looking to take the defense to task. Mr. B's picked up one, but Fultz is on their back line while J9O is distracting. Fultz has got the knife angled and sharpened. He'll take the gunfight, but loses it. Big play from Hat, and Mr. B with the finisher. 4-2, 3 attempts at that bomb site, but in round 6, they come back and have put SSG at a quite the deficit going into the side swap.
I mean, look at Fultz's entire demeanor right now. They're just trying to figure it out, man. They don't know what's going wrong right now. They have to go into this side and try and get the ball rolling when it comes to their defenses. But I mean, pressure builds diamonds, right? Beastcoast look like they are taking all of this weight on their shoulders over these last game days, and they are trying to make the most out of the situation. I mean, they are playing so very well right now. Hats off to Tristan, especially because this Rome game has been entirely about him. I mean, you can put his name up in big lights and just be like, Beastcoast equals Tristan. That defense has been so solid from him on those extended roams, and it has led into some very big late round hoedowns, you could say, from Beastcoast as they've been able to take it to SSG time and time again.
10 seconds left.
Now SSG's time to make these defenses work. I talked about their statistics in the M80 game yesterday, and they got 1 attack win to 5. You know how many defense wins they got? They got none yesterday. But to be fair, they only played 2 rounds. So small sample size to be sure. And in the Dark Zero Nighthaven game we saw last week against OXG, it was quite a defender-sided matchup, if I recall correctly. But either way, SSG still need to bounce back no matter what side it is. 4-2 against a team that so far doesn't have any win of any kind, not even entering overtime in the league so far. SSG, with so much of their reputation riding into this game, can't fall to Mr. B just walking into the IT breach, channeling some of that energy from Fultz. He's not found a kill yet. Come on, check Garage. There we go. Nobody reacting from SSG. They've been caught asleep at the wheel. Hat's taken full control of the bomb site, cutting off anybody rotating back. Not the BM in the 5v2. Might fall to the long angle, but SSG falling on their swords in round 7. Bomb gone down. J9O 8-4 maybe inside of Gen, the best player on SSG in this matchup, but is he getting 4 kills when Tristan's 8-3, when Mr. B's as confident as he's ever been, 9-4? Oh, do not be fools. They are not losing this opportunity.
Somebody needs to get a hold of the space station. We are reaching terminal velocity, folks. The ground is coming up very quickly for Space Station, and they are about to crash and burn if they do not get a handle on this. Now, the good news is, Lynx, they do still have a timeout in the wings. It's just about when they use it. Do they use it now? Do they use it later? Do they feel like they can do something about this offensive side? Because as of right now, it's the motion that Hot and Cold just made. Everybody's scratching their heads, man. Nobody knows what to do up against this BC roster. They're so strong in the moment right now, practically playing off pure passion. They completely spearhead their way in through one entry point in the entire building, Lynx. Our entire speech, the entire dichotomy of this map has been talked about as you need to make sure to clear, you need to make sure to check these exterior rooms, and you need to make sure you have control of these when you go for your execute. They paved over all of that with a bulldozer, and they were like, we have the round win
10
anyways.
seconds to insertion.
They did practically whatever they wanted, and they came up with the result too.
5 seconds left.
I mean,
Attackers
Beastcoast
are
aren't
heading
even,
out
they're
to
not even
defuse the
planning to
bomb.
go positive at this point in the
They're just
group
playing to
stage.
kill SSG.
They're
and
just
like, I'm
no,
about
literally.
it. That's my style of siege.
The best they can get is 3 wins to 5 losses inside of the group stage so far. It's already a rough go. But if this is a time to start a huge win streak in your last 3 games, just maybe build yourself a little cushion for teams like SSG maybe, if they keep facing troubles inside of the NAL to fall under. This will be a hell of a way to start that on Nighthaven Labs too. Looking to attack the CC bomb site again, but I doubt Mr. B will just walk into IT as aggressively as he did before. Beastcoast playing a little bit more reserved, playing a little further back, exemplified by Spiff's position. Very long angle to stop anybody swinging that breach.
I will say this before we get too deep into this round, just for this leaderboard talk, right? They might have 0 points right now. If they get 3 points in this, in order to go to the major, you have to be at in 6th, all right? That 6th slot is currently occupied by Luminosity at 5 points, okay? But here's the key thing about everybody, including Mirage in this, who's currently sitting at 5th. Mirage is the only one past Sonics that actually has a true game win so far. So there is some potential for Beast Coast. I think that the leaderboard overall will be contested enough where they could slip through if they do get on a victory streak here. But only time will tell, and that's really it. It's going to be a timing thing. SSG, they don't have a lot of time left, and they know it. Hot and Cold, now hot to trot now. We haven't seen that in some time. The previous league MVP showing up here as he's trying to get this KED back in check.
Mr. B, calm and collected as a C4 blows up in his face, but he's well outside of the distance in which he'd die, so he's all good. Don't worry about it. Just back up, go for the rotate, play something else. But I will say, Beast Coast, they might have had an excellent round 7, but round 8 has been very quiet, very lackluster so far. Struggling to acquire control, only just now starting to progress further into the building, but Doc is really the only one who has some bit of control. It's all too focused on this meeting and connector side right now. I don't think they even have the connector wall open just yet. Now, part of it's soft, so they don't need to, but there's a mirror window on that right panel. You've got to deal with that. Indeed, he will. Summer charge placed, but that's why there's a mute jammer there. They'll need to EMP that afterwards. Janano prepping a C4, waiting for the peak, waiting for that mirror to break to send out some carnage, but he pulls back, I suppose. Not doing it just yet. Instead, I think they might have just destroyed the Selmas on that mirror window. They've stopped the angle from being opened entirely, so you don't need to C4. You just need to sit there and wait. Tristan's cut down Ashen. Now they have a way forward. Mr. B is a little blind, unfortunately. The rest of his team doing the killing, though. Tristan 10-3, having a great score line, but it's too even right now. Big performances isn't cutting it in round 8. SSG just holds on for a little longer. Trades back and forth, looking for lucky number 13. Gotta find it with 1 second left. Fulton is too far away. Match point will just have to wait a little longer for Beast Coast.
I want to tell you this right now, Lynx. There better be some other people showing up on Beast Coast because you might be playing for your job up against Tristan.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think it was a quad for him on that round, wasn't it? Did he get all 4?
Something like that.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
goodness. And completely off screen for the first one as well. Found his first opener just on a random, just one-on-one engagement that he was able to slide through. Fortunately enough for Space Station, they're at least able to maintain man advantage going down into the dying moments because, man, Tristan was just foot on the gas in that scenario. Think about it this way. If any single Beast Coast member picks up a big frag in those moments, that's a round win for Beast Coast, all off the back of Tristan's efforts. 12-3, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And that's one of the situations where, like, did they end up losing the round? Sure, but kills are really impactless when it's, you know, a 1v3 and let's say Tristan's there. Actually, well, this actually happened earlier. Tristan's in a 1v3, you get 2 kills but still lose the round. Those are relatively impactless because you're in a 1vx. And if you get all the kills, hey, that's a hell of an impact. But at that point, the round is kind of assumed to be over. But all of that right there, he was keeping Beastcoast in the conversation, keeping them in the game. Those were not impactless. And most of his kills so far have been very impressive and very confident as well. And sometimes you have that bit of confidence off a one-off or just a string of performances you know are going to end. You know that the pressure isn't really on you. Still impressive to see. He's also found himself on that ram moving into round 9 as no cargo defense from SSG. They've instead moved to kitchen where that wall hot and cold's playing right now. And behind that deployable shield, that's likely going to be a lot of Beastcoast focuses because if you open that wall up, so much of the site is visible.
Long road to go for Spacestation. But so far, they've been good for it. First defensive round of their belt. Better than they were doing up against M80s. Definitely have to be happy about that. Extra wall will get open for Doc, and we'll at least be able to manage that for some time. Add a drone to the equation. See what's going on this top floor. A couple of rotations to worry about, as well as a player into his left, but I don't think he identified that just yet. A little presence on meeting. That was J90 from that previous engagement that we were just talking about. We're really wanting to hot just yet. We have a couple of these windows to worry about, but you can see Beastcoast, once again, just making sure that they do not overextend themselves and choose the right moment to strike, especially with Tristan in the wings. That could be at any moment.
Flashback. Action, big kill to start. Mr. B down. Tristan does fight back. SSG maintain their advantage. Oh, just for the moment, Jane, I know the predictor sees the peaks before they even happen. He's the sole man on this top floor, not in terms of positioning, but keeping it down, keeping it locked. Janano performing extremely well. Spiff and Tristan. Sure, he's a big player. Sure, he's getting those kills. They're struggling to push forward. They've recovered diffuser control, at least, on the top of those meeting stairs. C4 just grazes Tristan, doesn't deal him in. There's a pulse down below that can keep an eye on anybody moving on this top floor, and Forrest has another C4 as well. So that duo, Bolts with the intel, Forrest with the utility. That's what Spiff and Tristan need to be careful of as they use these auto breachers, as they move along this top floor.
30 seconds remaining. They're going to hop into lobby. The good news for Spacestation is they do have Bolt on the pulse, but this is one of those scenarios where you really want to respect the angles as well, so we might not be on the cardiac sensor too much. I just want to stay gun up. Make sure that they are aware, or at least are covering these angles they're pointing in towards them at the moment. Well, one discovered there. Tristan will be able to stay alive, but they have to hop 2 now. 10 seconds remaining. Not much to go off of. No stuns, no time, no real lifeblood in this one, and that's why Forrest will pick up 2 from inside of kitchen. The SMG-11 rings true, and SSG will stave off a penultimate point from BC for 1 round longer.
That 5-2 lead now is slowly being erased by SSG. They get to go down to the basement now, assume, at least I am. Might be kitchen and cargo, to be fair. Again, this map is still new, might be played 3 times in NA, but we're all still trying to figure out what are the defaults, what is the best site rotation. Do we start here, do we end here? So, it's not fully decided where SSG will go just yet. But even on the one site, Beastcoast have won CC, we can now start looking back and questioning, all right, was that a fluke? You made a big play, but since then, Janon O has been having a great name, shutting down individual 1v1s when they're given. The Beastcoast players peeking one at a time on that top floor and losing to the Wamai. Now as they move downstairs, is it going to be again like that second CCTV attack where it's just all from one way and no other angles aside from Tristan going big?
10 seconds to go.
And he's constantly racking up SSG's necks
5
here.
seconds to go.
14 kills to his name now, but Mr. B quietly putting together his own discography of kills.
To locate a bomb and defuse
9 and 6. Able to handle a lot of these on the crosses. We've seen some flashes from Hat and Spiff as well, but it hasn't been the greatest day for Doc. Bolt is going to motion out and get that hatch that we have been talking about here for Nighthaven. One that you are always safe to get on the defense, no matter where the offensive units spawn. going to end up getting that initially. And speaking of initially, BC are also going to get their eyes set on delivery, get these walls open for themselves to try and deliver things later on.
Loading new mag.
Bolts on that Solus and Tristan on the Yana. Two players that I've been impressed with so far. Janino might have a lot of the kills, but I'm still thinking about that performance from Fultz early on. This might be coming back in round 10. 7-7 now, and he shut down Hat. Might not be putting up Tristan numbers, but has certainly been another player alongside Mr. B and Tristan. Maybe the closest to achieve similar heights in this game so far. Now there's no trade from Beastcoast, no equalization. They've acquired garage control, but SSG could effectively play retake with the positions they still hold. Some players in control, some players in cargo. SSG, or Beastcoast, excuse me, have the hatch, but SSG, they're still denying it.
Oh, big nitro from Forrest, and he'll take down the lead man, Tristan. Two of the big entries now down for Beastcoast, and finally somebody will get something going for the BC side as Fultz will get felled inside of sight. Rather on the mid floor. On the immediate access points they are looking for. There is a lot of verticality over here inside of the barrels room. Ashen with a pretty creative angle here. Love the patience. Thrown in behind the desk. Oh. A little unlucky on that creation there, huh, Lynx? Both of them are just going to transition through the door.
That's...
He's not going to get anything, and they're both going to go downstairs.
Well, listen. Still an effective still a 2v4. Maybe a 2v3 if we're excluding Ashen. All the other angles certainly doing the work. Certainly doing the work for SSG. 5-5 now is seeming assured. Spiff has to recover the diffuser, kill all 4 remaining players, find some way to win the round with 30 seconds left all by himself. Nobody from SSG giving him a 1v1 either. Crosses every which way. A lead now erased. SSG have brought the score from 5-2 to 5-5. Whoever wins this next one will be on match point.
Well, so far, the defense is standing the test of time on Nighthaven. Not something that we could say through the last handful of plays on this map, but I mean, rightfully so here. Both of these teams looking so very strong, especially about battling the offense right at the entries to the building, right? Early on in the round, especially, we're seeing a lot of the early engagements go down on these key rooms that are just towards those outside panels, like IT, warehouse, things along those lines. And then once we get later on into the round, right, that's where we start to see things start to go down more on site. And honestly, the defense has, once again, just been doing such a solid job of making sure to set up for these earlier engagements and making it to where not only they have do they have a fallback strategy, but also they have the players implemented to make sure that nobody's overextended, nobody doesn't have somebody in the area to trade. It's just very kosher coming out of both of these defenses, respectfully. So the key thing now is that BC have got to get an offensive round, Links. They've looked so good. There's been a lot of energy imbued into this team, but now they're kind of dead in the water, and this is now getting into scary hours.
Now, this is where you need more rounds, like we saw in round 7. Even if it's just a one-off, you can just keep stringing some big moments together. You'll close it out in regulation or overtime. Gunnar put it best. Sometimes if one guy is just shooting straight in a best of one, that can be the difference maker. And Tristan, despite the 14-5 in the past 3 rounds, he has not been enough. Even his performance in the past couple rounds has tapered off just a little bit. And no one has filled the gap. Since round 7, Mr. B, I don't think, has a single kill. Tristan also picking up less and less numbers as the half goes on. Doc 2. Beastcoast as a whole, both in terms of their individual performances and their play, have slowed to a crawl since round 7. Ashen might just have a C4 lined up for anybody moving to the IT breach. That might cause them to full stop, but no. Goes too early, too far away from anybody to take damage.
J9O searching for it. A 1.5. Seeing if the Predator could find some prey. Not really home right now.
Bomb located by attackers.
To see if there's any rabbits on their green pastures. Not really going on as of now, though. Just point about their due diligence as per usual. It's gonna be the IT breach first. Electro Claw out, and it's not gonna get it. The Twitch charge, and Ashen crouches just to make sure he doesn't lose his head on a pre-fire. But man, was he cutting that one close.
Ashen very lucky that he made it away. Always difficult to K-trick those exothermics. I mean, you literally need to be perfect if you make that work, and that often requires predicting the timing properly. Speaking of timing, 2 players lurking down below, 1 for each side. One of those players happens to be Tristan, and that's always a little worrisome if you're that Jaeger down below. Beastcoast are going with their generally normal attacking strategy at this point. They've opened the IT breach, opened the connector breach, but this is where they stalled out in their second attempt to attack this top floor. They're looking for Tristan to take down this lurker below, and maybe hit a different part of the map later on, hit the backside lobby stairs, create some bit of momentum for BC.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Minute and 10 to go, and Fultz will ring the dinner bell. Mr. B down. Tristan knows he's right around this area. This is going to be the duel for the ages, the duel for the round, and Fultz wins it out.
Cover me, reload.
Big engagement between those two. One that we'll probably look back on in the post for this.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
He's able to get those 2 big kills and put Beastcoast in quite the juxtaposition. You just try and hit directly to sight. You try and play for the clear. Honestly, the former almost feels better, but it's really hard to call, especially with the amount of utility still in play for SSG. And the identification of few bodies around this space, especially over on the IT side, giving up all of the goods, but hot and cold, not really thinking anybody's home. Lackadaisically holding, and they're both gonna die. There's a chance here now. Forrest will fire back. Fultz is still up in this 2 versus 3. Spiff's gonna try and swing through, but they found some room at the back of servers here, Lynx. They can put this case down effectively, but not unless they lose Spiff. If they lose Spiff, they can't do that. He's gonna try and propel himself forward. He loses the case inside of command. That's gonna force Hat to try and plant this, and more than likely Fultz has this wrapped up with a tight bow, and he will. Spacestation Gaming and mostly Fultz will win out this round on Nighthaven.
4 rounds in a row now for SSG. Long time ago was that 5-2 for Beastcoast, where it seemed like they might, maybe, if we're in that one reality in a million, might just have their first regulation victory, or a victory of any kind. They can just win 2 more. Since then, they have not won a singular round, and it's gone from victory to survival as their hopes, or their remaining hopes, inside of regulation. I think you talked about that engagement between Tristan and Fultz down below. They lost Mr. B first, which honestly surprised me. I didn't even know he was down there. But then losing Tristan afterwards, that player who his entire purpose through that mid-round was just sitting down below, looking to find an errant roamer just by himself away from the team. And when that moment finally comes, he's looking the wrong way. And hey, sometimes that happens, especially if you're operating off of low intel, that's going to be the case. But when it's 5-5 and you need to be landing those shots, BC just aren't hitting them anymore.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate as well for Tristan, because he's playing the perfect operator for the scenario. He's playing Dokkaebi, but they don't have any more calls, Lynx. They don't have any more. They used him earlier, and really, did they get anything out of him? Not really. And that's the unfortunate circumstance of that, is that, you know, a little bit of a misuse in utility, or just some of these small minor details that can go awry, even though in the moment it seems like the right decision, right? It could be the one that leads you down the wrong path. And that's exactly what we get. They really needed some assistance in that roam clear much deeper into that round, and they didn't have it. They had no chance to try and help with that info basis, and he had to try and fly blind. And that's exactly what you're going to get up against a player like Fultz. He's going to catch you on a missed position. He's going to catch you on these angles you're not exactly ready for. And it's just something that you have to try and mentally prepare yourself for, right? And that's always going to be a very difficult task. You're talking about a hammer lifter here.
That's certainly him. Only time he's lifted a hammer has been if he's decided to do some carpentry. Speaking of that, floor reconstruction inside of IT, but still favored Beastcoast. 4v3 now, Jaina no Forest. Both fallen. Fultz, the other big performer on the SSG Triumvirate, is still alive, but he's down his C4. That's the one that missed. That's the one that got away. And that allowed Beastcoast, or Hat specifically, to survive on 1 HP. They've now not entirely cleared out the top floor, but they've made room in front of IT. There are still 2 roamers inside a meeting, and that's the spot Beastcoast need to focus on now.
Beastcoast have so much info still at their fingertips too. Really looking for them to try and use this, clear out this top floor. They've got the Yana. Hat's on low HP too, so he's probably not going to be too active. I'd be trying to use him more for an info-based type of thing anyways. Space Station, they have to try and reassess this. They're trying to get closer in player base just to make sure that they can try and play for these crosses, play for these trades, help each other out just a little bit, especially when these moments become more dire here in the next 45 seconds. East Coast doing their due diligence. Nobody on drone as of right now, and actually, I'm mistaken, Doc will be. I believe he'll be clearing out around this top floor, but hot and cold, this might be the perfect moment. They might have already checked all of this out. Lynx, this might be what wins them the round. Bolts is going to get tagged up a bit. Hot and cold doing his best, but did Spiff see him? I don't think that he did. He'll be able to catch him, though. Outside of IT, Beast Coast trying to fight back now. Tristan's going to get downed. It's up to Ash, and he had 2 kills before this round, but now it could be the clutch. He can't shut it down, and Beast Coast will send us into overtime.
Finally, when they get the advantage they were looking for, they're able to convert. We've got matching 4-2 attacking halves for both, or sorry, 2-4 attacking halves for both teams now. The defense definitely being the favorite side in this bout on Nighthaven Labs. But it just so happens that Beast Coast, they will be the ones starting out on the attack. If I have my numbers correct, have my sides correct, excuse me. Might be a worrisome position, especially as they've struggled since round 7 to keep something consistent on the attack, only getting it in round 12 when they needed it most. And now it's do or die, as if they lose this round, SSG will be back to match point.
Well, I think the good news is for both of these squads, honestly, at the end of the day, is you gotten points. You're in overtime. Both of you have now gotten on the board, and you know, one more than the other. Space Station already having a point, so doubling their points, yay. Good claps all around. And Beast Coast, I mean, to infinity with their multiplication there, right? As they're going to get their very first point here inside of the NAL for stage 2, but looking to try and pick up that coveted second point if they do end up winning this overtime. But you could say that for both of these respective teams, as they are both trying to fill in those last 2 slots on our leaderboards here in NA, try and get themselves a major spot.
Beast Coast's first step in overtime will come on the bottom floor. It's going to be very, very direct. We see early focus on opening both cargo for the assembly breach and the animus breach, and Mr. B bringing the O-cell. We'll see at least one of those talon shields on one of these breaches are pushed at least a little bit into the bomb site on the middle floor, but there are deployable shields and plenty of angles held by the defense to counter this very take. Maybe relying on shooting the 3 C4, sorry, my bad, 4 C4s held by the defense out of the air. Just nobody's looking. They just feed Mr. B to the wolves inside of tank. First C4 lands, it gets a kill. Are we looking to shoot 100 today? We got 3 more to throw.
Well, we'll see. So far, the batting average, not so good. Looking like I'm watching a Cubs game here. Frag grenade out. The pitch is set. It's a fastball. Sun's out. J9-0 in. And the hit is good. It's going to be a dinger to midfield. Spiff down, but Doc is going to reassess. We're into tennis now as they're going to volley this back. Tristan trying to take up a couple of the walls. Won't be able to find too much. This actually might be able to... Oh. Well. Yeah, what do you say about that one, my friends? That is nucleosis, as we say in the business, out of that nitro cell. And Spiff and Tristan. Spiff was down on the ground. Tristan, what a good friend he is. He got him back up, but he got him back up practically in the apocalypse, Lynx. So we'll see how they try and fight this one.
Yeah. Now down
Not
goes
well.
Spiff.
That's the answer.
Down goes Spiff. Maybe he gets 19 kills. Maybe it's a 19-7 game from Tristan on Beast Coast, but I have a feeling that's not gonna happen. Will he get 1 at least? Will he get his 1? No, he will not. Match point now for SSG. Won that bottom floor, but now must win on the attack if they want to close out 8-6.
What a Willy Wonka ride right there. Like, I don't even, that was just true calamity just completely synthesized down and put into a round of Rainbow Six Siege. And not only that, it just so happened to be in overtime. So even exemplify all of the feels and the stress and everything happening in that for Mr. B and Beastcoast, because those nitro cells were definitely not supposed to go off like that. They eliminated over half of the team. And practically one of them was just good enough to decimate the round. I mean, even if the second one was the only one that actually ended up landing and getting two, we're still looking at that round as though Beast Coast are walking into this with pretty bad odds to come out on the winning end. So as of right now, Beast Coast in hot water yet again, but with their backs against the wall the last time, they were able to persevere, Lynx. What do you think about this one?
I think Beast Coast are going into round 14 looking like the likely losers, unfortunately. Even though it was 4-2 defensive halves for both of these teams, I felt a little bit more confident about SSG's attacks than I did Beast Coast, especially the streak SSG went on in snatching rounds away from BC. I think that if we're just gambling on who gets the attacks that have so far been the harder side to win, I just think SSG is the likelier option, and I don't really like making risky bets. So Beast Coast is not in the cards for me to take this one, but hey, I'll be happy if they do.
Fair enough. Think with your head, not with your heart. Always got to let that heart speak a little bit, right? You'd love it if Beast Coast was able to push this to max OT and really give SSG the business, but in all reality, I got to agree with you as well. SSG's offenses have looked very strong, and honestly, it's starting to feel as though everybody's starting to find their home in this roster across the board. Ashen and Hot and Cold still working on that just a tad bit, but obviously their role's a little bit more difficult, and for Forrest, well, his role dead in the water for this one, but fortunately enough, they have more hard breach for this scenario, this exact scenario, in fact.
I don't know if we just lost Sam or if it's me that's the problem.
Lights on. Lights set.
Ready. Barrier formed. Chiba deployed. Market going up. Target online. Reload. I will watch over us.
No.
Yeah.
Magnet up.
Oh.
Nope.
I think, Sam, I think we both just got sent to the Shadow Realm a little bit. I'm not too sure. Oh, Ashen just sent someone to the Shadow Realm. It's Jover for Tristan, unfortunately. 15-9 might be the end of his performance in this game. 4v3, make that 4v2. Ashen taking a lot of damage, but doing the Lord's work. Fultz 2. Now we're back to an even split. 2v2 as Fultz tries to recover him and Hot and Cold. No Candelas to work off of. That'll be a big problem, as now Hotten's the only one left. Not enough time to use those smokes. All got to be gunfights. He's got 81 bullets. Can he make it work? One in front, one to the side. Round 15 now on the cards. Beast Coast able to launch back into the frenzy. Get back to those attacks, which have so far been so problematic.
Well, it's been the multiverse of madness here for all of us on the Rainbow Six broadcast, apparently, including BC. But they're back to reality now. They'll be able to secure that round and push us to the maximum potential of Nighthaven Labs and also the maximum potential of Space Station Gaming. They're going to burn their timeout, one they've been holding in the back pocket this entire time, Lynx. They trusted on themselves to get themselves this far. And now they have the opportunity to talk about it a little extra before going into this last round. Now, do notate that, perfect timing, Mr. B also gets to talk to his teammates as well during this timeout. So, going to be pretty interesting to see what both of these respective camps cook up going into the very last must-win round here on Nighthaven.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
I will say, you and I have casted quite a lot of one-sided games, but both, I believe, if I recall correctly, I think both OT games we have casted went the full 8-7 distance. I'm going to fact-check myself real quick. Hold on. I'm correct.
Oh, hey, wow, that was quick response time, man.
I have,
Oh my
dude.
God.
You think when I'm online, I don't have the Wikipedia pulled up at all times on my other monitor? You are insane.
I mean, I
if you
do
think
too,
don't.
but like, my God, man.
I got that like hyper reaction time. You know what I'm talking about. I just looked over, like, bam, 8-7 Mirage LG on September 7th, 2023 at 1600 Eastern Daylight Time.
Reloading.
I know what's up.
I feel like you have like a file where you have like Mr. Beast blood type and stuff. Like, I'm really scared about the details that you know about me now. Like,
negative.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, well, at least I know if anything ever goes wrong for me, I got a donor, right?
We are not protected.
That's true, you do.
5 seconds to insertion.
Beastcoast hoping that somebody donates around to them at this point, because
I'm trying to donate some drones there, but fortunately enough, able to circumnavigate that.
just hoping as they attack the second floor. Either the Candelas land or somebody goes huge, but I mean, Tristan, 15-9, we've talked about him a lot, but he really is tapered off. It might be an impressive scoreline, but the amount of kills he's had in the past few rounds have been minuscule. But if you ever needed a round out of someone going so huge, round 15 would be it.
It would indeed. And I mean, if anything, if it does end here for Beastcoast and it does end here for Tristan, I think Tristan's proven his worth enough. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely done what he came here to prove today, and it's the fact that he's pretty damn good at Rainbow Six Siege when it comes down to it. So hopefully we'll be able to see this routinely here for BC, as I do know he has to fill in for a couple of days for reverse. So see if he can keep this up and potentially land himself a contract in the offseason. Could be an interesting fold down the line for North America, and one that will all be waiting on with bated breath, especially after such a showing today. Unfortunately enough, Lynx, I think I've delayed long enough. I think BC are now starting to look to see if they can try and head their way in the building, trying to drop some of these angles in after those drone checks. They know they have the entirety of the garage available to them, especially after those panels have been locked up, and Mr. B is going to dedicate every single Selma that he has in his arsenal to those panels.
Oh, don't worry. No, they're just muted. Don't worry. I got nervous too. I'm pretty sure they're just muted.
Okay.
I
can't
think
see them.
I think so at least, but with no EMPs. No, they got destroyed. I was really trying to be charitable. I was really trying to hope, but no. All of those angles gone. Tristan, Hat, both low on health, but that doesn't stop Spiff or Beastcoast somehow from getting the opening pick. A lot of exchanges. Beastcoast hold on just to that lead. Ashen, you've been so quiet. You've been on the back line. Got the first pick. Now you've got to get two more. Tristan low HP, but there's one very long angle held by the attack. Ashen dodged those flashes. Still got the C4. He'll creep on in from Jen. There's one to his left covering. Time running out. Both guns now back up. You gotta win this. Will he make the cross? Oh, gun down, but he gets it on the recovery. Surely not. Surely not. 8-7 for Beastcoast. It might have been a nail biter. It might have been absurdly close. But off the back of a biblical performance from the substitute, we'll send it to the desk off of Beastcoast's first victory in the NAL.
Yeah, I got no idea.
Oh, brother.
I'm losing my mind.
Shoot, this is a weird one. Okay, what is this?
There could be so many possibilities.
I'm gonna go with Villa Kitchen.
Villa Kitchen?
Is this next to Vault Door on Villa?
I'm gonna guess that that's a Villa.
Maybe Cafe? Probably Oregon though.
Oh, I know what this is. It's Oregon.
Maybe like Oregon?
Oh my god.
I'll be ready for this next one.
There's lots of maps with offices.
This could definitely be like 2 of 3 maps.
Consulate, admin, a lot of files in that room.
This would be Canal.
I'm gonna say top small tower, Oregon.
Logistics on Clubhouse.
I'm gonna go with Consulate in the admin room.
I don't know where, but I'm just gonna say bank.
Bank?
No!
There's no way I'm guessing that right.
I've literally never seen that, so...
I know there's a chunk of statue on Villa Art. I don't know any of the casual maps, so probably Oregon kids.
I think pool. I think it would be pool and on Nighthaven.
Maybe like Stadium Bravo.
I have no clue, to be honest.
I'm gonna go Oregon Junkyard.
The only place I've seen chibis is when I do T-Hunt on House in the kids' room.
It would be House, the playroom.
Oh my god, man.
I am not good at this.
I've seen this before.
It's like a washing machine. The wall looks like it'd be consulate or bank.
It's gotta be like consulate upstairs and like admin.
I'm just going Clubhouse. I have no idea.
I'll go Oregon laundry room.
The brick is making me think it's like consulate.
Is that in the spawn of bank by alley?
I think it's Chalet basement, like beside the car garage.
That's Chalet and like the trench hallway area.
First one on the board.
Wow, not even close.
I've been playing this game for like 6 years. I feel like I should know these.
I would not assume Clubhouse because it's like a biker gang. What, there'd be no reason to be a teddy bear there.
It's on a leather back chair. That's okay. That's a good thing to think about.
I had to guess. That's just Oregon kids. Cafe and like the VIP.
It looks like a leather booth, so I kind of want to say like cafe.
Leatherback chair. Leatherback chairs. Leatherback. Where are leatherback chairs?
I would assume it would be cafe. It looks like it'd be from cafe.
Wait, that's a bench it's on. This is cafe, like tables.
My first initial thought is like this is somewhere on cafe.
Dining room cafe.
Yeah!
I had no idea.
At least I got one.
So my favorite moment, I think, when SSG invite finals versus NIP. I was in the crowd. I just started playing competitive. I was there with one of my teammates, and honestly, I wouldn't be here without that. If that makes any sense, it was just like that filled with energy. I went, this is why I want to do this.
My most fondest memory would probably be at the Yonkapine Major in late 2022, like November, I think. I was there with TSM as a player. It was my first LAN event that I got to play through. And the moment was when we were, I think it was before we went on stage. We had like a meet and greet with a bunch of fans, and that was like the first time I've gotten to actually meet like my own fans. And I got a picture with a whole group of them. It was like Farmer Gerald, Tom J. Sherlock, and Harry, and we picked up a Tom J. Sherlock for the picture.
So I would say my most fond moment of me playing Rainbow Six Siege would be when I played CL with RTV. Mr. B in the beginning of the stage said that we were gonna go undefeated. He said that to the whole league, and we ended up going undefeated in that.
Not a single loss.
And then we basically won all the way through playoffs with only losing one map. But that was for me, the biggest moments of my career so far, and I deserve to be where I'm at.
So obviously for me, my most memorable moment would be clutching the 1v4 against Damwon at the Invite 2022.
Kansan, but a beautiful double play. And watching from this angle, Kansan, are you a miracle worker? You only need one more, and there it is!
We were up 6-5 on bank, and it was the last round, and I clutched a 1v4 to push us into the second map, which we eventually won.
I would say one of my most memorable moments in Siege was qualifying for the Mexico Major. It was still pretty cool to travel to different countries. So, we went to Mexico City, and then I got to meet a bunch of the casters, the players. We had to play against a bunch of these teams internationally for the first time.
I think the happiest and best moment in my Siege career, it's winning SI 2020. I think that particular win meant more to me than other wins I've had. I think it was the biggest prize I've won. But also, I had just previously been on EG, and we had our string of second places. I was kind of picking up a reputation of being a finals choker. The crowd made it that much better, just like they were on our side the whole time through the game. it was really cool to experience for sure.
There were some out there that said it absolutely could not be done. The unthinkable has just happened. Given what we know about Beastcoast circumstances, the fact that they hadn't won a game yet, all of the things that are working against them, and everyone thinking that Spacestation were just going to come out the gate swinging, Beastcoast have finally done it. They've gotten their first points, and it's not just one because they made overtime. Those boys got a dub. That's a huge deal for those guys.
6 times the charm, as I always say.
I mean,
I said it to you earlier. This could be a game where Beastcoast takes it home.
Yeah, I mean, they needed their substitute to go absolutely nuclear, but he did, and they got there in the end.
We'll talk about Tristan in just a hot second, but first, let's talk to Hat from Beastcoast about finally getting a dub in the North American League. Brother, congratulations. I'm sorry it took you guys so long, but it's good to finally have you on the interview. How have you guys managed to stay resilient through everything you guys have gone through so far to get this first win?
I mean, for us, it's just one game at a time. It's the season's never over, so we just keep going, keep trying our hardest, no matter what circumstances we're in.
Well, Hat, you had to play with Tristan today, and you're no stranger to playing with Tristan. You guys teamed together back on reality TV. Did you find it was natural to jump back in the server alongside him, or did you find that there was some rust that you had to shake off first?
I feel like it was a little rusty at first, seeing that's a new map that we never played together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it was like a villa, it'd be a lot easier, but at the end of the day, Tristan, I know what he can do and what we can do together, so we got the dub together.
Nice.
All right, well, I just got to say it. Pusheisty, my dog, congrats on the dub. One thing I want to ask, getting this win for you guys, is that a big boost of confidence to finish out this stage?
Hold up, I can't hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Did you hear the beginning?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Because I said, Pusheisty, my dog.
Whoa!
Congrats on the dub.
Thank you, Laxton.
Never mind.
Anyways, what I was going to say is, obviously getting this win, is that a big momentum boost for you guys going forward?
Hopefully it is. We'll see tomorrow against, I think, Mirage.
Oh, that's it. Oh. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Well, I need a little more than that. Like, come on. You guys just got to win. You've been getting dunked on. Like, that's important. This dub is huge. Bringing in Tristan. I need a little more. Come on, Hag. Give me a little more. Smile a little bit. Say something.
Well, I don't know. Like, I guess we'll have to see tomorrow for the momentum. I can't judge momentum off one game.
I better see that mask on
tomorrow. Game at a time.
Wear that mask.
I don't know where it is. I had the cleaners come this morning and they threw it out. I think.
You don't know where the mask. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think it's gone.
That indeed is what the mask is for, dude. Anything else you want to say before we let you go? Any Twitter you want to plug? Skin you want to shill? Anything?
I just want to say some people shoot bodies in scrims and some people do it on game days. So
facts.
Gotta point how you play in
facts. I would say you can absolutely.
I can attest to that. Facts.
Well, dude, again, congrats on the dub. Hopefully you guys keep shooting, and if you're able to get any momentum, hopefully tomorrow is where we see that come full bore. Congrats again, and we'll see you later.
All right, thank you so much.
Definitely a big thing for them to finally get a win.
Massive.
We'll talk about Tristan specifically in a second, but we should talk about why SSG didn't close this thing out. They had the lead. It was 6-5, and then suddenly Beastcoast forced the overtime and then win on round 15. This is a really big moment for those dudes.
Brother, tough way to end out that game. The overtime, the last 2 rounds from Space Station, not what you want to see. I think the nerves 100% got to Space Station. They're obviously a hungry team, just like Beastcoast, looking for that first win. But for you to come into your 3rd game now, I want to focus on Ashen, right? Because he was in that final 1v3. It's a tough spot for him to be in. I thought he played it decently well, just couldn't find the last shot. Before that happened, though, we saw some questionable movements coming through. Hot and Cold sprinting into the Aqua stairs. That was a really strange decision in my mind. Yeah, the smoke. Hat was lying on the ground right past the smoke, ended up taking him down. I get he wanted to coordinate with the flank coming up the stairs, but again, I think it just got way too messy for Space Station at the end there, and it got out of their hands.
To talk about this map in general, we saw it one time get played, very attacker-sided, then see it the second time, it's very defender-sided. To me, it felt a little more back and forth here. It was a little more defender-sided. They did switch sides. SSG then going up, what, 4 or 5 rounds? I believe it was on attack.
4 rounds, yeah.
4 rounds, yeah. So it's nice to see the pace, though, that it is, with the different teams being played, how this map plays out, that it's not just this one-sided affair, that it can be a back and forth. You can see the strats that are involved. I like seeing games like this, especially on a new map.
And I want to talk about the young duo, one half of which we just interviewed, Hat and Tristan, coming into this game. I thought it was really interesting, their dynamic on attack, because some rounds, obviously, one of them would pop off, drop 4 frags, win them the whole round. But if they lost that opening pick, oftentimes the other person who was supposed to be entering with them was nowhere to be found. I don't think we saw many, if any, trades with those two specific players attacking onto Nighthaven Labs, and I think he hit the nail on the head in the interview when Hat said it's a brand new map. If we were on Villa or something, it would have been a little bit better, but there was clearly some rust there. Didn't matter in the end, though. They got their 2 points, and they'll have their first dub in the NAL.
Obviously, the duo with Hat is a really big deal, but we need to talk about Tristan just a little bit more. The man finished his Tier 1 debut on a brand spanking new map with 17 total
This shot right here,
frags.
that was beautiful.
And that was round 2.
That was
the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what you want, bringing someone in. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on Tristan to perform, but at that same time, this is going to keep everyone on the radar for him. He's performed well above and beyond than maybe what a lot of people might have assumed he is. And that's really what you want for coming in, to display your talent, to display why they chose you over someone else. And I think he did that.
Yeah, and on that final clip, too, we saw him jump over the stairs, and he took down Ashen.
RKO'd.
Yeah.
RKO'd. Just
Ashen struggled in this game, especially at the start. I thought he was really not able to find his way onto the board on a good couple of those first few rounds on attack. It was tough to see. I gotta say, the grade's probably dropping a bit after that one, maybe a C-.
Well, he was at a C for me, so
yeah.
might be a little bit of a D+.
God, we're already getting. I mean, sorry, D+ or the Korean team.
You're hilarious, Jacob.
I know, I really am.
You got the whole stage laughing.
There's a lot of things we have to cover about Space Station. They still have to play doubleheaders literally here every single play of the NAL up until the end of groups. So tough road for them. Congratulations to Beastcoast. They're going to play against Mirage tomorrow to see if they can't get a little bit of a streak going here. But we're going to transition into our next match. And specifically, we got to talk about DZ, because Gavin sped run the first situation in Rainbow Six Siege yesterday, had about 26 seconds or so. His teammate NJR did the same thing. Let's see how he scored.